All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome to the show. I got the Dark Shark here. I got Cameron Chism, who's going to be competing at RUF 43. This takes place tomorrow, literally tomorrow, because this is the day of the weigh-ins, and we're doing it super late as fuck, right? But RUF 43 takes place at the Celebrity Theater in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. August 29th, you're going to be in the Road to One tournament. This is pretty badass. You're going to be fighting Ellery Tarazon. He fights out of Tucson, Arizona. Okay. And I want to know about your training camp. How have things been going? How have you been preparing for Ellery? And what problems does he bring to the table that we got to keep an eye on?
Well, that's been a really common question about the whole the camp and how you're prepping for this. I feel like people forgot or don't realize I took this fight on 8 days notice. There was no camp. I was just fighters fight. There was no camp, you know. So as for problem wise, he's a mystery, you know, and because he hasn't fought a fight since 2014. That's a year after I graduated. When he was active and fighting, his first amateur fight was literally the day, a day or something after my oldest daughter was born. I was in high school, you know what I mean? Or just graduating high school. So he's a mystery because he's been off for so long, and that leaves a lot of questions. And personally, as a fighter, I don't like unanswered questions. That's not fun for me. So for all I know, he could have been sitting on the couch watching some fights, been like, you know what? I'm gonna fight again. You know, because that happens. Or he could have been in the gym, grinding out, training people, coaching. He could have been doing jiu-jitsu tournaments, wrestling tournaments. I don't know. So there's a mystery there, you know, as to what he's been doing. But at the end of the day, he also took this fight on 8 days notice. So he didn't have much time to prepare for me. So it's just gonna come down to see I think it'll come down to fight IQ and who was able to formulate the plan better and execute it better within the fight. Because you're gonna get to see two guys that didn't have a lot of time to prepare for each other. And he was prepping for two other guys prior to me. So that might benefit me too, because maybe he has some muscle memory from camps he's doing with those guys. I don't know how those guys fight. So there's that. So I don't really say they're problems. It's just I think it adds some fun surprises. So that's how I'm gonna view it. You know.
Okay, and this Road to One tournament thing, this is pretty badass. So you're essentially competing for the chance at $100,000 contract with one championship. Look at your shirt, buddy. I'm pretty sure that this would be pretty fucking phenomenal for yourself. So what do you think winning this tournament would do for your life?
Honestly, I'm a simple guy. You know, I live in a simple house. I like to play my PlayStation, hang out with my kids and my girlfriend. So it'd be cool because it would definitely change it, and I'd have to get used to people actually knowing who the hell I am. So that'd be a big adjustment, and that's cool. I'm okay with that because turning pro, you need exposure. I lived as an amateur pretty quietly. I went in, I fought, I did my thing. If people were a fan of me, cool. If not, oh well. That you're entitled to your opinion. So that's kind of cool, and to get the chance to possibly be in a fight for one would be the coolest thing ever because I love how their system works. I mean, the fact that you can knee people on the ground is the coolest shit ever to me. Some people are like, that's not fun. I'm like, no, because then you can't stalemate on the ground, which is what you see a lot of people try to do. So it eliminates that. It keeps the fights always moving. So I really like how they work. And but I'm also just trying to keep a level head because at the end of the day, I posted on my Facebook time and time again. People are like, Cam, are you excited? Cam, how do you feel? And and all these questions. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm here. But at the end of the day, I'm not overly excited. And it's not because for a battery, you expect the job's not done. What's there to be excited about yet? Job's not done. I haven't even done anything yet. So the hardest part I had to do was find a doctor on short notice to do my freaking physical. that was the hardest part I've had to do so far, you know? But like the job's not done. I haven't completed anything yet. And even with, the win of this tournament, it doesn't change anything. The job's still not done because yeah, it's a milestone, but it's not the destination. So there's so much more to do. Like I'm just not gonna. I just don't, I'm not one of those people that likes to sit there and smell all the roses. Like I'll do it eventually, but now's not the time. I'll have time for that eventually, but as of right now, focus on the fight, eyes forward, and just keep pushing for the goal.
Okay, and what is the end all be all for you? What is the
What's up, Cameron?
Yeah, what's up?
This is the definition of be ready for an opportunity, man.
Stay ready, so you don't have to get ready.
Go.
That's really fine.
Let's go.
All right, let's get the hell out of here. Okay,
but
so
the goal,
what is the end
the
goal?
goal is simple. I have a very simple goal, very simple dream. And some people, they won't get it, but others that know me, they will. I don't want to be the best. That's too subjective. Like the fact that we can all sit together, we can take all MMA fans, put us in a little room, and someone says, "Who's the GOAT?" And we all be like, "GSP, John Jones." Somebody like Khabib, Silva, right there. Too subjective. So many answers, and all have a valid claim to reason being a GOAT. I don't like that. I'm not aiming to be the best. If I get there, I get there. Great. But you know what's better than being the best? When you are the most exciting person that people have ever seen. Because with that comes greatness. I want to be in fights and have fights where it's talked about for centuries. I want to have how there's like Robbie Lawler and Roy McDonald. We will forever talk about that fight. Because of that one fight, we will forever talk about those two fighters. That no matter what they go on to do, how the rest of their career turns out, what happened for their career. We look at those fights and we go, that fight, that was special. I want that. I want if all my fights can bring that out of people, I've done my job. You know what I mean? Like when Justin Gaethje said, "I want to be the most violent man," I felt that in my soul. I was like, I get it. Because once you've done that and you're known as that and people know you for that, and they know, like, man, this guy puts on fights. He puts on bangers. He has heart. He always comes out to fight. You can't tell me that's not greatness. People are talking about you. You have now become a great in your own way. You might not be the GOAT, but you've achieved a level of greatness that not everyone gets to have. Even if it's only one fight, I still completed my goal. But I want to keep striving, getting better, and hitting those high levels because the bigger the promotion, the more eyes are on the fight. You know what I mean? So it's always trying to top the next one. And as a fighter, I hate fight of the night. I absolutely despise fight of the night. For fans, y'all love it because it's great. For me, it sucks because it's like that means I got hit a lot, right? But it's also one of those things where it's like, with what I want to do, it's a necessary sacrifice, Even sometimes, because there's sometimes you have those fights where you just won and done someone, everyone's like, "Oh my God, did you just see that?" That's still a great fight, and you took no damage, Like when Silva fought Forrest Griffin, and he steps back and counterpunches him, boom, fantastic moment, great moment. Silva didn't get touched. So in a way, yeah, I can still have those moments, and I don't have to get my ass folded up throughout the time of the fight. So, but that's the goal. It's a simple goal, but for me, it's a goal that I'm willing to put everything on the line for.
That is by far the best non-PC and the best answer and the best goal I've ever heard on this show. That is the best, hands down. So you have already achieved greatness on this show.
Well, I'm glad, that's a good thing to hear.
Yeah, you had me fucking goose bumping over here. My fucking hairs were standing up and everything, man. That was tight.
Like I said, I'm just a simple guy with a simple goal, you know. Like that's just what I want. You know, like some people have different reasons why they fight. Some people it's the fight they want, it's money. That's cool. I'm not knocking you. Whatever you got to do to fight, whatever helps motivate you to go in there and give everything you have to come out with your hand raised, or at the very, even if your hand doesn't get raised, because yeah, that's cool. But there's nothing worse than having a fight and you come out and you're not proud of yourself. So whatever helps you fight in a way where you can come out of that fight and you know you gave everything you had and you were proud of yourself, go for it. You know, like for me, it's that goal. It's also like I've lost teammates. Like they're not with me anymore. You know, like they're here, but they're not physically here anymore. So like for me, my reason for fighting isn't just a goal, but it's to maintain and protect the image of that they saw of me, to protect the image of the fighter that they last saw before they were taken away from me. So that's my biggest reason. You know, like the goal's there, but that reason's what helps me drive for the goal. I want to make sure that like the next time I see them, when the time comes, I can make sure that, like they're proud of me. That I can tell them that we did it. You know, like I made a post a couple days ago. I was like, I tagged two of my teammates that passed away, and I was like, we did it. You know, we got to pro, and because that was always a goal. So I just want to keep going. I want to be able to look at them and tell them like the goals accomplished, guys. Like we made it through. So that's my why. That's the reasoning that helps me with the goal.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's very, very, sad to hear, but at the same time, you know, I like the way that you're going about it. You know what I mean? It's tough, to lose people and, for whatever reason. And it gives is you're giving it a purpose.
Yeah.
Something like that, you're giving it a purpose, which is pretty dope. Like something a lot of people don't do. And it's pretty badass, man. I really dig that. I really dig it.
Thank you.
And how did you come across the name the Dark Shark?
All right. So this is actually a really funny story, and I love telling people this story. So if you knew me back in the day when I was fighting at 170 pounds, like walking around 180, just scrapping with people, I had the horrible fight name. Right? It was Dark Water, and I hated it. And I got stuck with this name of Dark Water because in sparring, I would just grind on my teammates the whole time, and just they'd be tired and just worn out, and I'm like, let's go, and I would just keep just striking and just pounding and just wearing them out. And they're like, he just drags you into like deep waters. And my coach was like, that's it, Dark Water. He was like that's he's like your movements, you're fluid. He's like, you know what, you're this way just drowning people. And he's like, and people are scared of the dark waters. And like I was 21 at the time. I was a little brother of the gym. So like I just ran with it. But I fucking hated it, man. Such a horrible name. It just wasn't good. Like just a dog water of a name. And then I kept it. I won my first amateur title, and I was like, all right, cool. And I was just still just not rocking with this name. Well, I ended up getting with my girlfriend before my second title fight, and her oldest son, our oldest son, I'm sitting there, and I'm just sitting there playing a video game. He runs up to me out of nowhere, comes flying down the steps, slips and falls. He turns the corner and goes, "Damn!" I'm like, "What, bro? What's going on?" He's like, "You should change your name to Dark Shark." He's like, "It's way cooler." I was like, all right, I'll consider it. Well, the moment he said it, I was like, that's actually pretty fucking tight. I like that. I can rock with that. There's a lot of things I can do with that. Like, and it was fitting, and because like one of my favorite things I always say is be a shark, which has nothing to do with fighting actually. It was just something I said for mental health because like sharks can't swim backwards. They have to keep going forward. You know, if they stop swimming, sharks will literally drown. So it was one of those things where I just said, just be a shark. Just keep going. No matter, and like the way sharks are built, they have to face everything with their face. So they take everything head on. They don't run from it. They just take it on and they make the best out of the situation. So that was the mentality I took. So it was fitting when he said that because it fit that little saying I always said, right? So then I surprised him with my second AMI title fight by getting announced as Dark Shark. Well, when I did that, that shit stuck like glue. Like there was no turning away from it. Like people were like, I had sponsors just writing me saying, "Oh, can we make you Dark Shark shirts?" And everyone like loved to be a shark thing, and it just fit, especially with like my fight style. People just loved it. It just resonated. So I was like, "Hey, all right, here we go." So now I'll do like silly things like on like hashtags like Shark Frenzy and Shark Mode, or I'll say every fight week is called Shark Week. So there's a bunch of cool things I can do with it that it's become like a brand, but it's also like it's just a way of living for me and like my family. Like I've got a bunch of different shark tattoos all over my body now. Like I have sharks on my arms and stuff. So it just really stuck. So that's how Dark Shark was born. Was literally through the bored mind of an uncoordinated 7-year-old.
Yeah. Well, that's the best way to get a nickname. Absolutely, hands down, the best way to get a nickname.
I'm just glad it's not Darkwater anymore because that was a horrible name. Absolutely trash, man. Like I love my coach for really wanting to give me a name at the time, but I was like, that's it? That's what we got? Like Darkwater? I was like, Darkwater isn't much different than diarrhea water, man. Like it's the same thing at this point. I don't really think this is a solid name. Like, you got anything better? Like anything? And he was like, nope, we're going Darkwater. So like for like my first 6 fights, I got announced as Darkwater, and I was like, oh God, this is horrible. Just not good. Like I understood the logic, but I was like, really? Like I was like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. That this sounds racially motivated. I'm not gonna lie to you. And he's like, what? No, I don't mean it like that. I was like, it's cool. I'm just saying, this feels racially motivated.
Oh man, that's too funny. That is too funny. But we're with the Dark Shark now, and I like it. Like you said, it's very universal in the ways that you can use it, and it seems very fitting. You know, I'm with it 100%. Now we have to take one thing and get it out of the way. Okay.
All right.
So nobody comes on my show and doesn't get to answer this question. And I introduce this question that way every single time, so people know what to expect when this situation arises. When the referee raises your arm and the cage announcer announces you as the winner, I want to know how we are celebrating with that victory meal.
I don't know. Honestly, I never really think about it. I'm always one of those people where it's like, I don't really plan out celebrations too much or what I'm gonna do, because it's one of those things like fighting is so freaking unpredictable, man, that I don't like looking forward to that celebration, because that means I'm looking past the guy I have to fight, and I'm not a big fan of doing that. I know, and like I don't knock people who do. Like that's cool. Like I'm all for it. But for me on a personal level, I don't do it. But I will say, win, lose, or draw, if I don't get some freaking chocolate milk after I fight, someone's getting beat up. So like, that's not like a celebratory thing. That's just one of those things where it's like, I'm one of those people. Whenever I have fights coming up, cause like I'm like, all right, can't have chocolate milk, no chocolate milk, because it's one of those things where I'm like, you have to earn that chocolate milk. Like you don't get the chocolate milk until you work for it, right? So like after every one of my fights, that's like the reward process after the fight. Like it doesn't matter if I win or lose. Like I just want some damn chocolate milk, because I'll throw hands at somebody if I don't get it. Like I don't care if I have to go home like 1-1, 2-0, 0-2. I'm getting chocolate milk, and if I don't, I'm fighting somebody over it.
But hey, man, chocolate milk is good. There's no doubt about it. Chocolate milk is the shit,
dude. Especially like I'm an almond milk guy. So if I get chocolate almond milk, especially like chocolate like with the vanilla almond milk that make it chocolatey, that hits different, man. Vanilla chocolate almond milk, bro. If you haven't tried that, I'm gonna need you to, when you get up tomorrow, head to the nearest grocery store, grab some vanilla almond milk with some chocolate syrup, and throw that bad boy together and tell me don't change your life. You'll never get chocolate milk the same way.
So I have to put in the chocolate syrup myself,
Yes.
and you suggest the Hershey's brand?
It doesn't matter to me as long as it's chocolate syrup.
Okay.
It all goes to the same place and comes out the same spot.
This is true. This is
I'm
true.
not that picky.
I'm gonna have to give that a shot. I'm gonna have to give that a shot.
Yeah. So
Right.
that's the go-to.
All right. Well, via your recommendation, it is on the list.
All right.
It is on the list, and we will make this happen. We will make this happen.
All right. That's what I like to hear.
All right. Well, again, you're going to be fighting tomorrow. Okay.
Yep.
So I wanted to get that question out of the way so that we can get to shout outs. Okay. Training partners, coaches, managers, whatever you want, man. This is your time. Go ahead and thank the people you'd like.
All right. Well, excuse me. First things first, I always have to thank, I thank my teammates, Brendan and Alonzo. I lost them, and they're my biggest motivating factors. Like literally, I always say like couldn't have gotten here without them. Like they're part of my team, for my camps, trainings, day to days. I have to thank them. My grandfather, because I grew up with him, he helped raise me and instilled a lot of stuff and that I use. All of my former teammates, because again, couldn't have got here without them. Whether I liked them, whether I didn't like them, at the end of the day, they worked with me. They helped create the fighter and the man that I am. I thank Tammy, my manager, because a lot of people don't know this, that I had a really difficult time like getting to the pro level, and not a lot of people were eager to sign me. Not a lot of people were willing because, as a kid, when I first came up and fighting, I was 21. I taught, I pissed a lot of people off, you know. So I kind of had developed that stigma around myself. And throughout all of that, Tammy looked at me without any hesitation, took me under her wing, and, has been here since that time, you know. She's been here with me throughout the ankle injury, when I was hunting down fights left and freaking right. She kept me like, I never even told her this, so she's hearing this for the first time too. Like there are times where I would be like down and depressed, and like I was just sitting there like I'm not gonna get to do it. Like how and she would call me or text me like the perfect time to let me like, hey, heads up. I'm talking to this commission, I'm talking to that commission. All right, we got lined up here, we got this lined up. So that really meant a lot to have her in my corner. Have to thank my girlfriend, because that woman is a freaking superhero. And like 9 seconds we're together, but she is legitimately a superhero. When I tell you I took this fight on 8 days' notice, right? She stressed herself out left and right to find, help me call up doctors for my eyes. She's trying to find places for me to get my physical done. And Tammy came in clutch for that too. So shout out to Tammy, right? She was helping me go through all these different things, and just drove herself mad. And she's always there, like she's always been consistent in my life. She's always helped me out. She's helped, like she's watched me grow up. When we first got together, I was a 22-year-old kid. She watched me go from this little kid to a father of 4. And I think I contribute a lot of my maturity to her, being around her, and having someone like that, didn't necessarily force me to grow up, but allowed me to grow up and to make my mistakes, but never punished me for the mistakes, Yeah. So that means a lot, because there's not a lot of people, not a lot of partners are like that, If you're young and just being stupid, they're trying to let you just, like, I don't need this. But, like, she stuck it out, which means a lot to me. Shout out to my little peoples, my little kids. I love them to death. Daddy loves you guys. You should be in bed. You better not be watching this. So I always like to thank them. I thank my mom and my dad, my girlfriend's mom and dad. I think my dad deserves a special shout out himself, though, because he came into my life as a young kid, and I got to watch my dad grow up. He came into my life, and I was a young shithead and stuck around, watched me grow up, And the best thing he ever did for me was, aside from taking me under his wing and raise me, was get me involved in freaking wrestling. Best thing he ever did for me. Like, I am so thankful he did that for me, because like I use it all the time, even if I don't actively like use it like in fighting. I use what I learned from wrestling all the time, like embracing the grind, my mindset. I got all that from wrestling, and I got that from him, you know. So, and then I want to thank my sponsors, you know, Combat Corner for always coming in clutch with the gear, Just Heart Apparel for my t-shirts, my MMA tee for my that also does my shirts. My homie back home, Dustin Anello, for making me a customized fight shirt on literally 48 hours notice. Like, shout out to him, because that shit is tight. And because like I'm so happy he did. I'm walking out in it for the fight. I wasn't planning on it, but I'm doing it because my man was on it, you know. And shout out to Impact Mouth Guards. You know, they definitely keep your teeth in your face, which is important. I like to chew my food. And yeah, that's about it for the most part. You know, I'm one of those people that I always like to say this at the end too, where I struggle with mental health a lot. I've been always been open about it. I've always felt it's good to talk about it, you know. So I always like to end my interviews by saying, if you are someone that struggles with it, or you need someone to talk to, or you just whatever's going on, like, my inbox is always open to you. Always. Do not hesitate. I don't care what time it is. I don't care where you are located. I don't care what, like, you're man, woman. I don't care, you know? Like, my inbox is open for everyone if you need someone to talk to about mental health, because at the end of the day, no one should struggle with it. Like, people think, because, oh, I'm brave because I'm fighting and stuff like that. Like, fighting's easy when you got to fight depression. When you got to fight the thoughts in your head, fighting another person ain't that bad. It's not that hard. The scariest things that happen are the things that your mind can generate. All right. So if anyone's ever out there has watched this and they just need someone to talk to, or they just want to vent, like, please message me. You know, I don't care if I have to stay with you for 48 hours to make sure that, like, you're gonna be all right. I'll fucking do it. I don't care, because I've been on this side of what it feels like to lose people. Like, I promise you that there's someone that cares about you. And if you don't think that they do, I promise you that I do. So I always like to end every interview with that, because I think that's important for people to know. I've lost a lot of friends to suicide and mental health issues, and one of the biggest regrets I have is a couple of them I didn't get to tell them that I loved them before they went, you know. And I don't want anyone else to feel like that. And that's one of those things that weighs on you heavily. It's one of those things where, like, it creates this little flicker of flame inside your body, and you can call it what you want: anger, hate, bitterness. It doesn't matter. It's just not a good feeling, you know. So I always like to end with that, because I do think it's an important thing to talk about, especially with men, because we don't talk about it. So especially for men, message me if you ever feel that way. Like, I don't care.
Well, that's very commendable of you, very big of you, and I respect the hell out of you for, you know, being on that side, and, you know, not being the, oh, suck it up, pussy, and, you know, that whole stigma and all that shit. No, so what you're doing is pretty dope. So, yeah, just keep doing that shit, because that's good work right there. That's good work right there. But speaking of work, you got to clock in tomorrow for RUF 43, the Road to One heavyweight tournament. You're going to be fighting Ellery Tarazon. Okay, you can get the pay-per-view or tickets. I heard there's still some tickets available, if they're still available. I don't know by now. But www.roughNation.com, and you can put in the fighter code, right? You can put in the fighter, and it's going to be CTHISM.
CHISM.
Yeah, so but C, because your first initial.
I don't know. I think I looked. It just said my last name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it'll either be CHISM or CCHISM.
Yeah. You'll see it when you spot it. It's
There
the
you
only
go.
Chism on the card.
There you go. All right, my man. And where can the people follow you on social medias?
All right, so you can find me on. I have 2 Facebook pages, so pick which one you want to follow me on. You can follow me on my fighter page, which is Cam Chism, or my other one, which is Cameron Chism Brungard. You can find me on Instagram at Cam_Dark_Shark. Or if you're a Snapchat person, you can add me on Snapchat. It's true_Chiz19. Don't judge. I was like 19 when I made that thing. Whatever. So you can find me on there. But yeah, inboxes are always open. So send me a message, whatever. Just do what you got to do.
All right, man. Well, much appreciated. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Literally.
Absolutely.
Before the fights. I'm calling them. It's going to be awesome. I get to see you chase this goal, this simple goal. Let's attain it tomorrow night, my man.
It's the first step. Every journey starts with a step, right?
Yes, sir. It was good having you on the show, my man. I can't wait to have you on again.
All right. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.